Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin this video by asking you guys a very simple question. And I expect a direct answer. Do you think Miguna Miguna will succeed in kicking Raila Odinga out of Nyanza politics? Because Miguna Miguna was on NTV yesterday for an interview. And during that interview, Miguna Miguna was very clear that he's going to focus on two things: economic liberation of the Luo nation and also kicking out Raila Odinga out of Nyanza politics. Do you think he has what it takes to kick out Raila Odinga from Nyanza politics? And something very interesting took place earlier today. Oscar SUDI met with Miguna Miguna. And for me, the meeting between Oscar SUDI and Miguna Miguna is significant, politically speaking. It's significant for these three reasons. Number one, Oscar SUDI is a very close ally of William Samoei Arap Ruto. I've always stated on this platform that whenever you want to get the thinking of William Samoei Arap Ruto, you don't need to look any further. You just need to look or to study Oscar SUDI. And being a close ally of William Samoei Arap Ruto, it means this meeting was sanctioned directly by William Samoei Arap Ruto. Number two, Oscar SUDI has some questionable past. Miguna Miguna is always on record over the same. So the fact that today Oscar SUDI met with Miguna Miguna, and indeed, this is what he posted on his official Facebook page. Let me just get. This is what Oscar SUDI is saying. Freedom is here. We will not revenge to anyone who mistreated us. Welcome home, General Miguna Miguna. If you dig into the past, you will realize that Oscar SUDI is one of the people who are actually pushing for Miguna Miguna to be deported during the 2018 deportation. So it's also important. Number three, Oscar SUDI's educational background is something which Miguna Miguna has been talking about. Miguna Miguna is always the guy who talks of intellectual capacity, that he can only engage people with brains. He has been on record severally that he can't engage people with perceived low education level. Today, he was with Oscar SUDI, and from the photos which Oscar SUDI shared on his Facebook page, Miguna Miguna, the general, is actually a very happy man. So in this video, I want us to look at the objectives, the details of that particular meeting. Because we all know that in politics, nothing happens out of mere coincidence. There is no way Miguna Miguna can come all the way from Toronto into the country. Then the first major political meeting he is holding is with Oscar SUDI, a man he has never shared anything common with. But before we get into all those details, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, I want you to take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us get back to the main issue. And I want to thank a few guys who are always calling to ask where we are. Clay Jabali, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank Jen Atieno. Jen Atieno, I received your copy. I want to thank you so much. And I want to thank my friend Gordon Kenayo, who is always supportive of this channel. And by the way, my coffee lines are still on, so you can send something on the numbers which you already know. Now, let us get back to the main issue. And I want to focus more on this particular meeting. And as I was just going through this, the list of people who called me, there's a Gazette notice which is Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, notification of impending vacancies. And William Ruto has announced that, there's a gazette notice. So there are members of the chairperson and 2 members of the IBC who will be vacating their offices. So whereas vacancies will arise in the position of the chairman and the 2 commissioners and boundary commission, now therefore in exercise of the powers conferred by section 7AB of the Independent and Boundaries Commission with paragraph blah blah blah, I, William Ruto, notify of the impending vacancies. Okay, so basically I've just seen that. So 2 commissioners and the chairperson of IBC, their term is coming to an end, so they have to vacate office. So those recruitment are going to take place. Now let us focus on this particular visit by Miguna Miguna to Oscar Sudi, because from the setup, it's either Oscar Sudi's private residence or private office or his office in parliament. But I want to assume the meeting, that setup is actually Oscar Sudi's office. Why do you think these gentlemen met? Number one, I think they were drawing a strategy on how to liberate the Luos. Oscar Sudi made a promise to the Luo nation. That is, he will lead in liberating the Luo nation. When Miguna Miguna was interviewed yesterday on NTV, he was also very clear that he will definitely liberate the Luo nation from what the Luo nation are questioning. What is he liberating the Luos from? So if they have plans of liberating the Luos, Miguna Miguna was away and now he's back. Oscar Sudi, who was here, is now here. So probably they met to come up with a strategy. Because remember, Miguna Miguna's strategy, if you ask me, is not working. There is no way you can win the support of the Luos, because the only way you can liberate a people is by winning their support so that they join you. Miguna Miguna's strategy is not working. It's not working because he's too combative and is appearing to be attacking Raila Odinga. Anytime you try to attack Raila Odinga, there's a way the Luos, even those who hate Raila Odinga, will always gang up to defend him. So maybe Oscar Sudi was advising Miguna Miguna that the best way to deal with this issue is to stop attacking Raila Odinga, especially after that particular interview. So maybe Miguna Miguna will not be appearing for those particular interviews. Or if they have a strategy, that is what they discussed. The strategy on how to liberate the Luo nation. Number 2, I also tend to think that Oscar Sudi probably wanted to deliver William Ruto's message to Miguna Miguna. Remember, Miguna Miguna was on NTV yesterday. There are certain things he said, some which were not pleasing to Kenya Kwanza brigades. One of them is that the position of the Chief Administrative Secretary is illegal. He stated that. And that is one position which William Ruto is keen on having. In fact, Miguna Miguna made it very clear that he cannot join William Ruto's government if that appointment was going to be Chief Administrative Secretary. So I tend to think that probably after listening to that interview, Ruto sent Oscar Sudi with a message for Miguna Miguna. Or maybe after he arrived from Canada and they have plans, so Oscar Sudi is the one who was asked to deliver that message, because it's not going to be possible for Ruto to engage Miguna Miguna directly. Doing that would mean Miguna Miguna would be viewed as a project. And being viewed as a project would mean that all his missions will not succeed. So for me, I think Oscar Sudi delivered a message from William Ruto to Miguna Miguna. What he expects Miguna Miguna to do, what he doesn't expect him to do, and probably Miguna Miguna also told Ruto whatever he wanted. Number 3, I also tend to think that it could have been a transactional meeting. What I mean is that if there's any funding activities, if there's any funding for Miguna Miguna's political activities, because the truth of the matter is that moving forward, for Miguna Miguna to remain relevant, he must get out of the comfort zone. He must start going to Nyanza. He must start organizing meetings. So when I talk of transactional, it means maybe some money exchanging hands. I'm saying this because it's a known fact that Oscar Sudi is a very close ally of William Ruto. and it's also kind of a business associate. And it's one guy who deals with the majority of William Ruto's, let me call it dirty, in quotes, dirty deals. When Ruto was stopped from going to Uganda, he was with Oscar SUDI. On the day William Ruto was being sworn in, Oscar SUDI was the only member of parliament who was in his convoy. When he went to Uganda and Tanzania, Oscar SUDI was present. So I think it could be about funding of Miguna Miguna's activities. Number 4, I'm also looking at Miguna Miguna sending coded message to Kenyans that he's going to be on the side of Kenya Kwanza. You know, Miguna Miguna yesterday tried so hard to prove during that interview that he's going to be loyal. I mean, to be neutral. That it's not going to be swayed by one side. And that is going to attack Ruto whenever necessary, when they are doing the wrong things, and also deal with Raila Odinga ruthlessly. It's not possible in politics. In politics, you must choose a side. So I think Miguna Miguna just wanted to tell Kenyans that for him, the side which is going to join is that side of William Samoei Arap Ruto. Because Miguna meeting Oscar SUDI is just like Miguna meeting William Samoei Arap Ruto. And lastly, I also tend to think that maybe Miguna Miguna is engaging himself in some PR exercise. What I mean is that he realized that the interview he held yesterday he might have said certain things which did not please his supporters who are now majorly in Kenya Kwanza, and therefore to sanitize, he needed to go and look for someone who is close to Ruto and take some photo opportunities. And that's where I'm seeing the gentleman, Oscar SUDI, coming in. And lastly, I also tend to think maybe it was a thank you. Miguna Miguna stated certain things, that his passport was delivered to him in a record time. He was called to send his IDs. 2 minutes later, he was informed the passport was ready. Then 3 days later, after some time, a copy of the passport was sent to him. And then 3 days later, his passport was delivered to him in Canada. So the question is, who was the link between Miguna Miguna and William Ruto? I'm seeing Oscar SUDI. So he looked for Oscar SUDI just to thank him for all the efforts. I don't know what you think. That's my take. There are 2 videos which I'm planning to do. The first video is the dilemma Miguna Miguna is finding himself in. The other one is about this national security, special security unit. Until that time, enjoy your day. Bye-bye.